folks, today we are going to be looking at my 300 Blackout PDW build, lovely called the Broke Badger. I'll go over the things I like, the things I don't like as much, and what I would change if I could do it all over again. Before I get into it, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, that is a great way. There's a link in the description that will take you to my page if you're interested in joining. If you're looking for a freer way, a like and a subscribe go a long way. Now let's go tip to butt on this build. You can find all these parts in the build list that is linked in the description below, and I'll put up a QR code if you're watching on TV and you want to follow along. First off, we got the Griffin Armament, a little bit dirty, the Griffin Armament Tactical Comp. I really liked it. Muzzle brakes for me sometimes are pretty concussive, and so I wanted to try this compensator instead. It's not as violent as a muzzle brake, but still helps keep the muzzle down, and I think it did great. Honestly love it. It's a little long. I know some of the Rearden are a little shorter, and so if you're looking for the absolute most compact package you can have, you might want to get something a little shorter, but I think for what I did, and especially after you throw a suppressor on it, doesn't matter, so I think it worked great. Moving back from the muzzle device and going to the handguard, this is the Ford Controls Design RHF 6.7. If you have seen all my videos, you will recognize this from the CMMG Banshee build. I bought it for that, but it didn't end up working because the anti-rotation tabs that it has up here interfered with the billet upper receiver. The billet upper receiver doesn't have as thin of a neck here, and so it was interfering with that, and you couldn't put it down all the way. So I saved it for this build because I knew I was going to do this build too and would need a compact handguard for that, and it actually worked really well. I actually think it looks better on this than it did on the Banshee, so I'm glad that I got to keep it. I do usually like a QD mount on the handguard. This one didn't have one though, so I threw on this Obsidian Arms QD mount, and it works great. Underneath the handguard is the Faxon barrel I used on this. It's a 7.5-inch barrel. Paired with the barrel, I used the Superlative Arms adjustable gas block. This one's in FDE or tan. I can't remember what they call it, just for the vibe that I'm going for. Honestly, I really like the Superlative Arms. I use them in basically all my builds. For the receiver set, I got a Bad Attitude Department. I think they call this the QT Cat. Obviously, it's got the Q, well, a faux Q logo here, and cats are really big in their brand, and so it's got the cat. It's been great. Really tight tolerances. Everything was nice. It is a thermal fit upper receiver, so if you haven't done one of those before, make sure you watch some tutorials or something before you attempt it. I watched one from JP Enterprises, and this was my first time, and still had to do it a couple times. Didn't get it exactly lined up when I was putting the barrel in, so a little bit of trouble getting it in, but it was manageable. Along with the receiver set, got a Rise Armament lower parts kit and trigger. This is the Rave 140. It's a single stage, no take up. We'll ghost it real quick here. Show repping is clear, nothing in there. Don't roll away, suppressor. Single stage, no take up, crisp brake, light reset, crisp brake. So actually really nice, really affordable trigger. I think it's actually really good value for the money. Along with that, have the Radian Talon safety selector. This has been my go-to for a long time. Got the Radian Raptor charging handle as well. Obviously, super rock solid, no complaints there. Love that guy. On the BCG, went with an Aero Precision. I was mainly just looking for a relatively inexpensive BCG that didn't have a logo on it or anything, and this fit the bill. This is the one item I got a lot of comments, or the most comments probably, about in the comments section below. People saying that I should have went with the Micro Best, and if I was to build again, I probably would. I haven't had any issues with this, but apparently there are nicer ones for about the same price, so I could have went with one of those instead. Magpul MOEK grip. Obviously, this is just for the vibe. Not my favorite grip. A little smaller than I usually get. I like the K2 more, and that's usually my go-to on all my builds. But for this, looks good and works good. Getting back to the back here, This is what is this? The SB Tactical HB brace. This is one of the items, or one of the biggest items I'd actually probably change if I was to rebuild this. Not the biggest fan of this thing. It's quite a bit sloppier. Let me get actually a comparison point here. So here is my Banshee build that I did. Try to keep it framed for you. With the SB5 tactical brace. I like this thing a lot. It's a lot stiffer down at the bottom here than this. This is a little bit wiggly. That's a little wiggly down at the bottom. This one's a lot firmer. I also don't like that I have to, it's really hard to open this just with one hand. You can get it kind of to the first, and then if you want to get it past that, it's a little bit tricky to get open. You kind of have to break your grip, grab it, and then open it, which I don't love. I prefer, let's put that back in. That took longer than it should have. I prefer just this one-handed operation on this guy, opening it, closing it, super easy. It's a little bit longer if we put it side by side here. A little bit longer, but honestly not bad, maybe another inch or two. And in this case, I think, unless you're trying to go for the most compact package you can, I just do one of these. It's firmer, better lock up on your shoulder, easier to open and close, and overall better in my opinion. Magazines, originally I got this Duramag, but I had a lot of feeding issues with this where mags would kind of prematurely eject out and get bound up on the bulk carrier group. I had a Magpul one that I had at the range that I tried, and that worked fine, but the rounds were still a little bit loose in there, so I ended up going and just getting a 300 blackout specific Magpul mag, and that thing worked like a top. So shot about 150 rounds through this at a range session and didn't have a single issue. So really like that. And from now on, I'm just planning on buying 300 blackout specific magazines all the time, either from Magpul or Lancer. And then for the suppressor, didn't have this on the original build video, just got this in the mail a little bit after I finished actually building it. This is the Griffin Armament Optimus 7 with their dual lock mounting system. This is actually my first suppressor I've owned. Usually, if I have, $1,000 sitting around to spend on guns or gun parts, I just end up going buying another gun instead of spending it on a suppressor. Not that I have anything against suppressors, but just that's what I usually do. So it's 2025 and decided to get with the time. Bought this guy from Griffin Armament a couple months ago, and for my first suppressor, I wanted something that was low back pressure because all my prior experience with shooting cans has been with traditional baffles, and it always shoots all the gas in your face, and haven't really enjoyed that. So I wanted to go with a low back pressure can. Also, I knew I wanted something that was a little more flexible in terms of the calibers it could take. So this is a 30 cal can, so I can shoot my 5.56 and 300 blackout, 308, whatever out of this one. Also wanted something that was really heavy duty and wasn't going to buckle under full auto fire or anything like that in case I decided to go super safe with it or something like that. So this one fit the bill, and it's been great. On the range, super quiet. Did it without ears, with ears, subs, supers, everything sounded good. Tone was really nice. No gas to the face whatsoever after 100, 150 rounds fired through it. So really, really, really enjoyed it. The one thing I will say is it's pretty heavy at 19.5 ounces. So when I paired it with my URGI that's already a bit of a beefy boy, it did get to be a pretty heavy package. Paired with the lighter PDW build, no complaints though, really manageable. Overall though, really cool build and happy with how it turned out. Looking forward to building more. Let me know if you guys like this new format in the comments below. I plan to do this going forward as the follow-up to my build videos instead of just a range session with no talking or anything. If you guys have any cool builds that you would like to see in the future, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to see if I can make them happen. Remember to train hard and stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.